Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Thursday, May 19th, around 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 2022. The models are in, and it's looking like heavy snow for Colorado in May, and that's the big story. This week, snow could break all sorts of records for Denver. Holy macaroni. Take a look at some of the totals. 12 to 18 in Evergreen, 4 to 6 in Boulder, 12 to 18 in Estes Park, 12 to 18 in Red Feather Lakes. And it's almost summer. Keep calm. It's boom time. May in the Mile High City. Heavy snowfall forecast for the Denver area. Take a look at that dramatic cool down map. The calendar may read mid-May, but parts of Colorado, including the Denver metro areas, are bracing for a storm that would make winter proud. AccuWeather forecasters say the 93-degree AccuWeather real feel temperature that roasted the Mile High City on Thursday will be a distant memory by Friday into early parts of the weekend. Winter storm watches and warnings are in effect across large sections of Colorado and northward into Wyoming. For good reason, AccuWeather meteorologists are calling for 3 to 6 inches of accumulation in downtown Denver. And that is a boom. Be prepared for frost, maybe snow in northern Utah this weekend. It's going to be much colder than normal on Thursday night and Friday morning. So not just Denver anymore. Now Timberline Lodge, record-setting year, reporting insane 175-inch base in mid-May and rising. Timberline Lodge reaped the benefits of La Nina this season. The ski area has picked up 568 inches of snow to date and is currently reporting a 175-inch base in mid-May. And that's not the only resort that's doing good. Winter's second wind, Mammoth Mountain Resort, extends its ski season into June with a boom. And let's not forget about the East Coast Killington Resort in Vermont, the last one standing with no end in sight for the East's longest season. The season of pleasing. Killington, Vermont is now the only U.S. ski resort that is still open. And there are tons of ads on this article. So Killington's still open in the East, almost at summer. Now, there is going to be a surge of heat to bring the hottest weather since last summer to the Northeast, because if it's snowing in the West, in Denver, it's got to be hot somewhere, and it's going to be hot in Philly, where records will be broken, as well as Virginia. The daily record highs have stood since World War II, and the Great Depression eras will be challenged at a number of locations, including Raleigh, North Carolina, and Philadelphia. And it will be hot on the hottest day of the year so far for many, with widespread 90s up into the Northeast. If you're at the coast, well, it will be cool due to that ocean water and that breeze. Let's take a look at the GFS model, which is quite impressive to say the least. Here we are Friday, and that snow is going to be dipping down into Colorado into Saturday, where Friday, Saturday into Sunday morning, heavy accumulations showing up to 16 inches over a widespread area, even snow down in our region, which will probably, in my opinion, help quelch the Plumtall fire. Now they're saying containment of the Plumtall fire won't happen until mid-July, but this could be very beneficial because, well, snow puts out fires. Now, let's talk about the Reykjanes Peninsula. Before we get to the Reykjanes Peninsula, let's talk about the wind and the fire weather danger. A number of hazards expected today across the U.S. Severe thunderstorms are expected in the upper Mississippi Valley and from Missouri to the Carolinas. Widespread critical fire weather conditions are likely from the southwest to the south central high plains. You can see all that magenta in there. Those are winds. Flood watches are in effect for parts of Hawaii and Alaska. Finally, record heat persists in the southern U.S., and that's moving up to the northeast this weekend. Now to the Reykjanes Peninsula, where the ground deformation has started and a likelihood of a new batch of magma at shallow levels. You can see that major uplift there on the tip of the Reykjanes Peninsula. We've been calling for an eruption here for about a month now. So let's take a look at the seismic activity. It's dropped off over the last 24 hours. There's a little bit of a flurry of activity, but this is in the region of that uplift. So if we would see an eruption, it's probably coming to one of these areas where there's the larger seismicity. Here we see 3 magnitude earthquakes happening over the last 48 hours. Now, worldwide volcano news update. Karaminsk, Fuego, Krakatau, Simbanu, Ibu, and Ducono, Etna in Italy. A new fissure vent continues to feed lava into the Valle del Bove, and it is glorious see some of the pictures there. I don't know what's happening here. Let's just go back to the news. They've monetized this, so it's getting a little biggie. Krakatau's puffing to 8,000 feet. Dukono to 8,000 feet. Sabankaya, 27. Kirimshkai in the Kamchatka to 28,000 feet. And nothing really notable except the lava fountaining at Etna, which is quite glorious. And Ibu in Indonesia, a series of strong explosions continued the other day. And they look quite significant. A phase of intense activity dominated by strong explosions at the volcano continues during the past few days. And that's at Ibu. Who knew? Space weather. We've had an M flare, 2 M flares. This one pretty significant at M5.6. No CMEs associated with these flares. I can't find any evidence so far, so that's good news. Now, I also don't have an explanation why the Pentagon is showing off pictures of UFOs over the last few years. Here, an official shows a video of an unidentified flying object. Deputy Director of Naval Intelligence Scott Brady shows declassified videos of an unidentified object during a White House subcommittee hearing on unidentified aerial phenomenon. And they basically say they don't know what that is. And we'll leave you links below if you want to check out the video. Now, rice cultivation recorded at Neolithic site in China from 8,000 years ago. So clearly, we are slightly more advanced than they lead us on to believe. And dipping back titillatingly further into human history, an ancient tooth found in a cave proves an extinct species of archaic humans lived in Southeast Asia over 130,000 years ago and were probably cultivating rice. And these are none other than the Denisovans. This is the first Denisovan tooth found in Southeast Asia. A tooth found in a cave in Laos was found to be from the ancient human species called Denisovans. The tooth is most likely a girl's and places the extinct humans in Southeast Asia for the first time 130,000 years ago. This solves the mystery of how Denisovan genes are found in humans in Southeast Asia. Well, because that's where they come from. And I'm no bum. The largest volcano eruption in 140 years was, in fact, Tonga. It took them almost a year to determine that, and we said it about a day after the eruption. Now, Tonga's January eruption created atmospheric reactions unprecedented in the modern geophysical record. The rumblings began on December 18, 2021, under the small South Pacific islands of Hunga Tonga and Hunga Haipai in the Kingdom of Tonga, and it was the largest underwater volcano explosion not seen since the likes of Krakatoa back in 1883, and 10 times the magnitude of St. Helens. That's quite a boom. Now, why is Washington's Rainier one of the most dangerous volcanoes in the United States? Well, it's mud. And when I say mud, I mean lahar. And here you can see a lahar simulation. Let's move this over here. It's not going to let us do much here. And so when I mean lahar, it's a very fast-moving mud flow. When there's volcanic activity on a mountain like Rainier, the entire ice cap and the glaciers on the top can melt instantly. And you combine that with the ash, some of the rubble, the pyroclastic flow, you get a lahar. And a lahar is a fast-moving river of cement-like material that just obliterates everything in its wake. And just the right eruption on Rainier could cause a lahar to move its way all the way into populated areas. And the devastation would be, well, it would be epic. It would be unthinkable. Especially, there is evidence that lahars have made it as far as Tacoma. And so you're taking out all these cities: Puyallup, Sumner, Orting, Carbonado. They're all in the path of potential Mount Rainier lahars. And this map shows where lahars have already been. You can see they make it all the way to the Puget Sound. And that is in recent times, geologically speaking. So, and because of that, Hunga Tonga, very few people were near it, which is why very few people lost their lives. But if Washington's Rainier goes off, well, the possibility of lahar into populated areas is very high. And that would mean a massive catastrophe, which is why Washington's Rainier is one of the most dangerous volcanoes in the United States. And we're keeping a close eye on it for you guys. Now, a free class that you can audit for free coming from the Colorado State University online. It's free. Did I say that? Section 203 online class. 2022 free vegetable course. Are you craving delicious homegrown vegetables? Does the supply chain have you down? Do you foresee your family potentially suffering from food shortages or starvation in the future? Well, have you thought of growing food? You can take this course to learn the foundational principles for planting a vegetable garden, including planting times, layout design, soil preparation, fertilization, routine care, and frost protection tips. This was designed for growing in difficult areas and in raised beds. They're even going to describe methods for frost protection and microclimate modification. All you got to do is sign up. It is an extensive course. Very extensive. It's 2 weeks. From May 12th to May 26th. And it's free. And that is a boom to knowledge. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. Take the course. Share the video. We love you. That's boom. Take the course.